Peace and blessings once again. Welcome to Veterans Arts on Air. I am your host, Mel L, along with my co-host,
Sarah Eilefson.
Alrighty, well, let's get right into it once again.
Fabulous.
It's been a month.
Yeah,
A
happy
lot
spring.
a lot of things are going on in this past month.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's spring yet. I'm not gonna quite go there just yet.
April showers.
Caught in the rain. Cold rain, cold snow, same difference.
Better
to
than
me.
snow.
I like the snow.
Actually, I do too.
I'm saying, see? All right, well, anyway, so we're going to go ahead and get right into it because we got a lot of things to talk to you all about. First things first, as we mentioned, every Friday, we're talking about things that have gone on at the museum. So every Friday, as always, we are still having our drop-in workshops at the museum. So we have some of our various students that can come through, hang out with us for a little bit, do some artwork with some of the different artists that we have at the museum. So again, from 3 to 6 every Friday.
3 to 5, actually.
Oh, 3 to 5.
Yeah, sorry.
Good to go. So, little time change. Sorry about that.
But it's free drop-in arts programming. A lot of fun.
All right. So, how many, have you guys had a good turnout so far?
Yeah, it's been great.
right.
Students of all ages. So lots of creative art making with Erica, with Christine Bisbach-Davis, our education coordinator.
All right.
Yeah, it's been great.
All right.
Yeah.
Also, coming up this month, we have another one of our workshops. So this one will be Saturday, April 12th, from 1 to 3, Soundtracks, Music Making Workshop with Nathan Dillon of Everybody Rocks at Old Town School of Folk Music. So, there we go.
Yeah, this one I'm particularly looking forward to. Nathan, we have not worked with him before, so this is our first time having Everybody Rocks at the museum. But essentially what it is you RSVP so we know about what a head count it is. It's free. I have to plug that always.
Always.
But over the course of 2 hours, he's going to teach each student how to use a musical instrument, teach them a cover song, and by the end of the 2 hours, the whole group plays a song.
Nice.
Right?
All right. Yeah. That sounds pretty good, especially for people like me who takes a little bit more than 2 hours to kind of get it right.
Right,
So,
yeah. I've had several guitar lessons, piano lessons. I gotta say, I can't play.
Yeah, I think the best lessons I had were the ones I taught myself.
Yeah.
And still working on that guitar thing, though. It's, after about 16 years, I'm still working on it.
We'll get there.
But the rest of them are good. The piano, the drums, the keyboards, things like that. I'm working on a few.
Nice.
All right. So, the Congressional Art Show we got coming up. So, can you tell me a little bit about this? Congressional Art Competition, nationwide high school, sponsored by the Congressional Institute. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a nationwide competition. Mike Quigley, we're in District 5, so he'll be hosting the 5th District's art show at the museum. So for one day on April 16th, that's a Wednesday, you can see all the student art from the district that's getting sent to the East Coast for the national show.
All right. And then coming up right before that, some big news here.
Yeah.
On Thursday, April 26th, the winners of the National Medal for the Institute of Museum and Library Service will be announced. And the National Veterans Arts Museum is still in the running to win.
Yeah.
So, once again, good luck. Wish you guys the best of luck on that.
If you want to kick a little attention our way, you can make a post. You could share your story either on our Facebook page or the Facebook page for the IMLS. That'd be helpful. We'd love that.
Great. So for all of you who are out there watching, you have your stories of how art and how veterans have helped you out and how this museum's kind of affected your life a little bit. Please feel free, stop by, tell your story. The more the merrier. All right. And then, let's see, April 25th. Actually, no, before we get to that, I have an anniversary coming up.
Yeah.
Sorts, right?
I love anniversaries. I love celebrating.
Yeah, me not so much. But they are what they are, and especially when you can get a lot of years behind something, it is worth the celebration. So one of the volunteers at the museum, Bill Crist, has been volunteering there now for 10 years.
Yeah.
All right, so 10 years of service to Bill Crist.
Thank you, Bill.
Very much so. And I want to say Bill was one of your co-hosts
He was.
one of these months when I was on hiatus. So you got a chance to see him up here. If you haven't, please feel free to look at the YouTube page. You can actually see Bill sitting here with my wonderful co-host.
He was the one telling all the stories that night.
Yeah, well, He's actually one of the first people I met when I got into the museum, and he has a lot of stories. And
Yeah.
of course, he's a fellow Mortarman, so he and I, sharing MOS, so we had a lot of stories that we could share back and forth between the two. So, love talking to that guy. Something about some of our elders and some of the people who've been around a little bit longer than you have, being able to sit back and tell you their stories. They're very intriguing. So, congratulations once again, and thank you for constantly coming out and hanging out with us. 10 years of service. Much love, peace, and blessings to you for that one. And then, April 25th, all right, we got the official opening of the National Veterans Arts Museum's Education Student Art Exhibit. So, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so if you have a school-age son or daughter and you need a little bit more incentive to have them come to the drop-in, just think at the end of the year they might be featured in our annual exhibition of student art. Okay. So this is the first annual, I'll have to admit. But it's Friday, Friday, April 25th is the official art opening. The art that's been created by students at the museum will be on display. So we're very excited about that. Very proud of what they've done.
Great. Alrighty. Last chance. One of our exhibits will be coming down. So Tenacity and Truth, Friday, May 2nd, will be the last day. And of course, the museum will be closed from on May 3rd, and then they will be opened up. But then right after that, Memorial Day, that Monday, the 26th, the official opening of the new exhibit, Surrealism and War, will be coming in. So I'm pretty sure we're going to have a nice little party for that.
Yep, we're very excited about that. We'll be open. We're normally not open on Mondays, but of course we'll be open for Memorial Day.
All right.
So we'll have some events going on that day.
Okay.
Very excited about this new show. But yeah, mark your calendars. We're closed for about 3 weeks to get ready for the new show.
All right. So looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to come out there. Shortly after that, so we're talking about closings and openings. The online market is now open.
Yeah.
All right. So
we're joining the 21st century.
Well, there we go. So the National Veterans Arts Museum online market. There you can find and order T-shirts, coffee mugs, fine art prints, as well as some books. And who knows? Maybe one of these days you can see my books and music and comic books and things like that featured on there as well.
We would love that.
Yeah. We're working on it. All right. So yeah. Well, now let's get into some more deeper topics.
Yeah.
I want to discuss the Senate rejects the Comprehensive Veterans Health and Benefits and Military Retirement Pay Restoration Act of
Big
2014. All right. So, first of all, let's talk about a little bit first what that means to the U.S., particularly to our veterans. So, can you really quickly give me your take on how you see this before I start in on my wonderful rants and things?
Yeah, we love the rants.
All right.
So my understanding of it, it was essentially a big move, a big change, looking to make what happens financially speaking for veterans when they return better, right? If we're spending all this money on combat and weapons, why aren't we spending it on our number one resource, the human beings who we send over there?
Right.
So it was a large earmark out of the large Department of Defense budget put toward pensions, put toward health care, and put toward should you come home and need someone to take care of you, making that affordable.
Right.
And it got shot down in the Senate. My understanding is that the Senate said, there wasn't enough information, we have this committee doing this research, we need to wait and find out what that report says, which won't be until 2015. But of course, in the meantime, after the sequestration, we don't have enough funds going where they ought to be going.
So, essentially what I took from all of that is, we got some people researching whether or not these veterans coming home actually need money, actually need medical care, actually need someone to look after them if they can't look after themselves. So until someone who we've hired to tell us what we want to hear tells us what we want to hear, we're just going to hold off on that. And we're not talking like a large portion of this budget either. We're talking out of $1 trillion, we're looking at what, 17 billion, I believe it was?
17 billion.
So $17 billion out of $1 trillion to take care of those people who are going and protecting this country, and not only just this country, but our allies as well, who are going overseas, who are fighting these wars for us. And then, of course, they come home and people say, well, all right, you're here now, go back to civilian life and let's deal with that.
Yeah.
All right?
Well, you deal with that. You figured that out.
Yeah. So, way to go there, buddy. Great job. It's just, I don't know, it's very sad to know that, these people, we're constantly telling our people to have pride in their country and we should serve our military, and our military is very important to us, but once they're no longer in our active military, we don't want to worry about them anymore.
Right.
All
I mean,
right.
this is the conversation we have all the time. One of
Yeah.
the reasons we love doing this show is once a month we get to talk about veterans' military issues. Not just Memorial Day, not just Veterans Day.
Right.
Make this part of, we're not yet to the daily dialogue, but moving it closer.
Absolutely. All righty. Looks like we have a caller. Joe, would you like to speak? You are on the air.
When they talk about money, whether it's government or state money, this is what they always have to wind up doing. They have to have research. Then they have to pay the people to do research. Then they have to have maybe some veterans come in and talk about what they need, whatever. They're going to spend something like $2 or $3 million to do this sort of stuff, okay?
Right. Absolutely.
Then they got to pay somebody, say when they go to a university, right? They got to pay them something like $3,000 or $4,000 to rent their rooms out maybe for one day and
Right.
stuff. Then they got to have recordings and stuff. They got to gather all this data and stuff. They take about 3 months. And then some politicians may stand in front of Congress, you know, after they spend about $2 million so they could sound intelligent where they know what they're talking about. So we got to wait to do all this research to find out something that you already may know.
Yeah,
Right.
You're absolutely right. And I appreciate you for saying it, because one of the things that gets me about a lot of this is that you have to do research to say that we need to get money to take care of these
I
people.
want to tell you the reason why.
But,
Right.
I want to tell you the reason why.
all right, go ahead.
And this is the reason, okay? It don't make no sense, whatever, in a way. You got to put somebody to have a job,
Right.
do that sort of stuff, all right? You got to pay them and stuff, all right? You got to
Right.
pay a lot of money, a lot of times for people to be able to sound intelligent and stuff. And you got to, like I said, it doesn't make any sense. You got to pay like this research. I'm not joking, whatever.
Yeah.
You got to have maybe 150 people, and they be on salary for something like $150,000.
Right.
Okay? And like I said, they're going to spend $2 or $3 million on something they already know, so you got to have a whole bunch of people to make money off of to tell you what you need.
Absolutely. I appreciate
Take
it.
Thank
Take
you.
care. You know, I also find it funny. Like, yeah, we need researchers to tell us we need to take care of people, but we can just go ahead and shell out this money to grab these weapons. Like, we don't need research on the weapons. We know we need those.
Right.
But we don't know whether or not we need to take care of these people. We have another caller. Frank, you're on the air.
Are you aware that the Pentagon cannot account for about $9 trillion since about 2000?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Well,
That-
that's more than half the national budget that we're in deficit for.
Well,
My question, here's my question.
Uh-huh.
Why are the veterans continuing to be so supportive of the Pentagon and the military complex when they're getting short-shafted at every opportunity?
Well-
You have all these veterans parties, you know, we're patriotic and all the rest of
Uh-huh.
it. Yet, at every opportunity, the administrative forces that constitute the Pentagon and the government in general short the veterans.
right.
The bonus army in the 1920s, as I recall,
Yep.
was actually routed and chased out by the active military and shot and killed while they were protesting in Washington.
And there you
Today
go.
we have veterans begging for a little bit of help once they've lost all 3 or 4 of their limbs. I mean, to me, it's I don't get it. I mean,
Well-
I know that veterans are patriotic when they go in, but
Right.
really, at some point, it's not patriotic. It's stupid. So that's my comment and my question.
I appreciate it. Well,
Thank
here, I appreciate your call. And here will be my answer to that. And that is that as far as being loyal or standing by the Pentagon, it's all about, in my opinion, picking and choosing, which is to say that I know for a fact that there are several veterans groups and organizations who are not in support of the Pentagon. But those aren't the people that they are going to show you. So, as we've often said, our
mean
media
media?
can sometimes be
Yeah.
lopsided, and things don't always come out the way that you, as they are actually. So, when they say, well, these veterans are in support of our military, they're not saying which veterans. These may be those veterans who may not necessarily be combat veterans. These may be the veterans that don't necessarily need that help. But the ones that actually need those services, the ones that actually do need the help, they don't talk to very many of them. They will give you a few of those sprinkled through here. So we're going to give you a whole bunch of people who are going to tell us what we want to hear. Then we're going to give you 1 or 2 from that other side that says this is what it is. So that the balance is off. Because I guarantee you, if they showed you both parties equally, those that were for the Pentagon or supported the Pentagon and those that did not, and the stories, and let the people make the decisions like they should, I I guarantee you we would have a different outlook on our hands.
I also wonder this question of representation. So many of the veterans that I know
Right.
take care of themselves, right? And it's a point of honor
Right.
to not ask for help.
It's
to
a pride thing, yeah.
Yeah, to not
Absolutely.
confess that this system is broken, I'm not being treated the way I ought to be treated. So I wonder how much that plays into it. It's a self-selecting group of
It is.
strong individuals.
It's hard to tell someone who has been prideful on their strength and their courage and their ability that they have to sit down and now tell you that I've been broken. That is a very difficult thing to have to do, which is why so many of us will retreat into our art. You know, that art is our voice. Joe, I see we got you back here.
Know how to resolve all this problem? I tell you what we can do.
What's that?
We should have term limits for politicians, term limit, length of employment in terms of people that work for the Department of Defense and people that work for the Pentagon. It doesn't make sense when they work for the Pentagon for a certain length of time, whatever. They wind up going out here, work for these private contractors,
Right.
making damn near, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss,
That's all
making
right.
damn near 7 figures.
Right.
So we need to limit them in order to use the Pentagon and other places in terms of making connections. If you know that you're going to be somewhere for a certain amount of time, you got to do certain things to make your mark. When you got these people working there just to improve their situation, improve their pockets and all that, we need to have length of employment for these people and term limit for these damn politicians as well. We tell the president, hey, you can only serve 2 terms. We need to do that across the government as well. It doesn't make sense. They leave the government, they wind up making millions of dollars.
Absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one. Thank you again, Joe. Yeah. And he's right. Like, our president has the term limit, but some of the rest of these folks can make a career out of this. And by making a career, I mean every 2 to 4 years, I'll do something that makes me look good. After that, I'm going to sit back in the cut and I'm not doing anything else.
Right, or I'm going to look out for my job, not the people who I should be serving.
Absolutely. It's all about me, not necessarily the people. The people got me in here. Now it's about me until I need the people again.
Yeah.
Only in America. All right. So, we're going to move on. We're going to get into a couple of other topics.
Sounds good.
The creative community versus the therapeutic community.
Yeah.
All right. So,
So here I am pulling back the curtain behind some museum discussions.
Alrighty.
So as you know, as I hope some of you know, we've long had a therapeutic art program at the museum.
Right.
But part of the concern we have is, well, when you label something therapeutic,
right,
and again we're dealing with strong, proud community members, is that a turnoff? Are people going to say, well, I don't need therapy?
Yeah.
I think I would
pretty
say
much.
That, right?
I say it all the time.
And so hopefully we'll have time to show the video from your graffiti arts workshop, which was out of our therapeutic art program big idea. But we're rebranding, we're remarketing ourselves. Creative community. Right. The idea that we can create community, and being an art museum and getting to work with awesome artists, we can be creative in our community gatherings.
I will say the term in itself, therapeutic art, has always been a bit of a turnoff for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I am an artist. My art is a release for me. It is therapeutic in a sense, but to sit back and call it therapeutic art makes me cringe every time I hear the term. It's just, it's weird. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
It's
feedback from you and others that made us think, okay, well, we need to rethink this.
We need to rethink that. It is something that is definitely needed, but for the people who need it, hearing the title can be a bit of a turnoff. So we gotta figure out what we can do. So again, we're very curious to hear what you all out there would think about this particular topic. Changing the title, will it change the outlook on how our veterans see it? I personally say yes, or at least it's worth a shot. Because right now we know what's not working. Let's try some things that is working.
Right.
Let's actually get out there and give it a shot. All right. What else do we have going on? Well, I guess workshops. We have talked about the workshops.
Yep.
We talked a little bit about our creativity. One of the things that we did, the last workshop that we did, which was our mask making workshop, which we actually got to see you and myself actually hanging out making some masks. So it was a lot of fun. I will give you that much. It was.
And that was with Jeff Semmerling of Inside Out Studio.
Absolutely. So we got to go out. We got to make some really nice masks, and this was a part of one of our workshops. I actually kind of like this.
It's not fun to just run a workshop. You have to be part of the workshop.
Yeah, if you're going to do art or show other people art, you've actually got to be involved in it. So, I'm going to go ahead and set that off now. All right, but there we go. All right, so this is one of our mini workshops, and our artists, of course, are in the same building, located right down the hall from the National Veterans Arts Museum's offices. So please feel free to stop by. They have some amazing work.
Yeah.
They recently came back from Mardi Gras. They've actually had some events out in the Portage Park neighborhood that they just finished working on. So great times. I tell you, every time they have one of these workshops, I go, not because I'm a part of the museum, but because I actually like to have fun with these people.
Yeah.
Stuff's fun. You gotta love it. Alrighty. And then, of course, my last workshop, which we did back in February. And actually, from that workshop, I will be doing something similar to it over spring break, working with a couple of students at an art institute called Marwin. I will be teaching a graffiti workshop for a group of students from, I want to say, 6th through 8th grade.
Oh, cool.
So we'll be doing some graffiti. We'll be doing a lot of that stuff. So
Same with the stencils and the...
We'll do some stencils.
Awesome.
We're going to paint up a couple of walls or whatever it is they will allow us to paint. But yeah, so while we're talking about that workshop, I guess we are going to close out by showing you guys a video from the last workshop that I did. I have yet to see this, so this will be the first time I'm watching it right along with you. So...
It's you'll like it.
Alrighty, let's give it a shot. Here we go.
Whatever happens to a dream, does it manifest itself in the flesh or is it just as it seems? A movie on the idiot boxes of our subconscious or a sub for our conscience that forces us to be honest now. Is it going in 60 seconds times 10? Or a spark that lights the fire that's been dormant within? Is it something that's in place to help escape from our realities, to keep us moving steadily, to set our souls and body free? Or is it vision that moderates our goals, keeps you from insanity and keeps you in control? Is it about materialism and getting cream? Is life really hard as it seems or is it all a dream? Identity and representation. You are the person that you are meant to be at this moment. As we grow, we begin to change on a daily as we live from day to day. The identity and representation with the art workshop that we're doing here is to get a snapshot of who you are at this moment, of what you're feeling and expressing at this particular moment, so that years down the line, people can look back and see your works and see who you were and what you did and say, this is what I was at that moment. This is almost like a time capsule. If you want to realize your dreams, you got to wake up, gain knowledge yourself. This really is a must. If you put in work and in God you trust, your dreams will never get crushed when times get rough.
Whew. That was nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Told you you'd like it.
All right, well, I stand corrected. Cause, yeah. Now,
And now-
I'm very weird about watching myself on camera.
yeah.
This is funny, but
But Patrick Butsy at the museum does phenomenal work.
he does.
And
So
it was mostly the others, so you can handle that video.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a great time. We had a lot of fun, kind of hanging out that day. Got to meet a lot of students who came in. Got in a little bit late because of some traffic, but they made
But
it.
they made it.
And not only
Yeah.
did they have fun, but they helped with the walls that we painted. And by the time they were done, they were excited. They were looking forward to the next one. So
Yeah, and they made some great art, and we were
Absolutely.
lucky enough to be able to put that on display for a time as well.
it was. So influences, art. It is one of the things that help drive us, not just as an individual, but as a community and as a society. So I strongly recommend that all of you find your artistic voice. As I often say, you can teach art techniques, but you cannot teach being an artist. So whether you have the techniques down correctly or not, feel free to find that way, whether it be through music, through sculpture, through painting, through drawing, through theater, whatever it is you can figure out.
Yeah.
Find your way, find your voice. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. You can catch us again here next month, or you can catch me weekly on Saturdays on the podcast at Slam Internet Radio from 4 to 6. Coffee Breaks with Bob Rock and Mel
Fun
L.
show and uncensored.
A lot more uncensored, so you get to see me and get to hear what I have to say about a lot of these things without the censorship that I have to give you all here. So once again,
Thank
peace
you.
and blessings. I'll see you here next month. We're out of here.
Good night.